giving folks a few minutes to tune in and pile in before we get going. I got a great show today. I know a lot of folks are probably still watching the Packer game, but that's all right. We'll be going for a little while, so people can definitely tune in and check it out. Like I said, I've got a great guest today. Dr. Sean Robinson is going to share his story. Super dope guy. Like I said, he's got a story, and I feel like it's one that need to be heard, shared, and let everybody else take advantage of just the information that he has, and hopefully it'll inspire someone and share with siblings, relatives. It's something that I definitely feel is going to be beneficial to just about any and everybody who takes advantage of the opportunity to listen. So before we jump into it and I bring him on, got to drop the intro. All right, jumping right to it. We got my buddy, Dr. Sean Anthony Robinson. Thank you for being a guest on here.
You're welcome, man. Appreciate it.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
I definitely just wanted to, one, say thank you, and two is just like people got to know your story. It's a true story of perseverance and resilience and accountability. Like you had to hold yourself accountable to get to where you are now, and the things that you're doing for everyone that a lot of people probably just don't know about, I think is something that needs to be shared. So, what I would love to do is just go ahead and kind of like give a little background about yourself, where you're from and how you grew up, and then just kind of we can go from there.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. So I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, north suburbs, Wilmette, Evanston area. Single parent household. Grew up with my mom, my grandmother, pretty much, my aunts. Never knew my dad till I was in my mid-20s. I was in special education pretty much my entire academic K-12, self-contained classes. When I got to high school, when I became a sophomore, I was sent to the alternative high school. It's in the bad kids, trouble kids, label. I spent 2 years there, and I had probably the greatest time, some of the best teachers. I was also involved with coaching Special Olympics. I've been coaching about 20 years. That really changed my life, being able to serve and learn about myself and understand about the sense of belonging, right? But the biggest thing that really changed my life is when I was going into my senior year. My professor, Dr. Robert T. Nash, from the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh, diagnosed me with dyslexia, and I graduated high school reading at an elementary level. So my grades were below a sixth grade level in reading, spelling, mathematics, and so. How am I supposed to survive in the world as an adolescent with those type of grades, right? Like I don't have any motivation, aspiration. Like I'm just a lost soul, right? And particularly on top of that, as a black male, right? Like the odds are almost against me, right? And so when he taught me how to read, and I graduated high school, and he helped me really understand the importance of language. Man, I just took off. Like I was like, hey, I'm a learner. Like I'm a sponge. I'm going to absorb as much knowledge as I can and get mine. Like I'm going to be able to get mine and be able to then help somebody behind me. And so I spent 18 straight years after high school getting my degree. 18 years straight, man, nonstop, blood, sweat, and tears, man. 6 years of undergrad, 5 years of a master's, 7 years of PhD straight, man, nonstop. Like. And throughout those 18 years, I had professors that failed me, told me, I shouldn't be in college. What am I doing here? And I heard that narrative, right? And so I was like, man, forget y'all. Like, you're not going to put me in a box and tell me what I can't do. Like, so once Dr. Nash really taught me how to read, and I became conscious, it was over, man. It was a wrap. Like, my favorite book I tell students, my favorite book, it's right here, man. Favorite book right here. You see, it's all
Dictionary.
marked up, man. This my favorite book, man. See, it's all marked up, man. Like I've been studying this thing the last 26 years, man. Every day I study it like it's a Bible, man. It's a word. It's word knowledge, man. Like you can't go wrong, man. Like it's just a fascinating tool that's underutilized in our academic space, man. And I think if kids, particularly kids with learning disabilities and kids look like us, you and me, right?
Yep.
Got access and understood how to do this, man, the game be over. Like, because it allows us to be conscious of not only ourselves, but we can grow and enhance our vocabulary, understand meanings and how to use words in context. Like, it's just a powerful tool. And that's all he taught me. Like, literally, when I was a freshman coming out of high school into college, man, the dictionary. And like I said, I've been studying the last 26 years, the dictionary, man. I probably study till the day I die, man. I'm just addicted to it, man. It's a thirst, you know.
Nothing wrong with being a lifelong learner. I got a question for you. So, based on how things were for you growing up, like what kind of behaviors did you exhibit while you were in school? Especially when you said you're in high school at an elementary reading level.
Oh, I was pissed off, man. I was an angry SOB. I mean, I'm not gonna even sugarcoat it to you. I was angry. I had no self-discipline. You know, I was bouncing off the walls on Ritalin, ADD, ADHD. You know, I had no love for myself. I was just, you know, I was lost, man. I was hurt. The same pain that I experienced, I see a lot of these students that I go out and I talk to or I see, man, in schools that are burning inside. They want to scream. They want somebody to help them. And I was the same way, man. I was just fighting all the time, cursing at teachers, throwing chairs at teachers' desks. Like I didn't care, man. I had no self control, man. I was just going down the wrong path. And when I was a sophomore, before I got sent to alternative high school, one of my coaches, Coach Carpenter, he pulled me in his office and said, Sean, by the time you're 18, you're going to be dead or you're going to be in jail. Like, he just flat out told me. He was an older white guy. Like, he just came out and was like, look, I can't help you anymore. Like, I've tried all these things, but you're making it difficult for me, but I want to keep helping you. But the way you're going, it's going in a different direction. Like, he just came out and told me. And he's like, hey, I want you to get involved with something. And I was like, what is it? He's like, I want you to get involved with coaching Special Olympics. And I've been, like I said, man, I've been coaching ever since, man. So, you know, it just takes one teacher, one coach to find that space for you, that good fit. And once you get in, you know, it's up to you to take advantage of it, man. That's what I did.
Nah, that's real. So as you ended up, you know, figuring things out, what was it that you had a dream for as like a kid? Like, what was your career?
I didn't really have a dream. I didn't really have it. You know, well, for me, you know, sports. I was, we'll go this, we'll do that, right? Sports. But like career-wise, I didn't really have a passion for anything, man, until I really learned to read. And then once I really learned the value of education, I want to be in a position to serve and help others, particularly those that come behind me, so they don't have to go through the same stuff I went through. Like, I want to be able to use my experiences, my life lessons, my failures, my trials, tribulations as a way to let the next generation through without having to go through the same hardship. Like just, I don't know, just coaching Special Olympics and getting involved with that really helped me understand the meaning of service. And so I just wanted to be able to, you know, help people, man, because I'm gonna die one day, man, you know, so I might as well be able to be of service and help somebody else. You know, I can't take it with me.
Right. You can't take the information with you, so you might as well share it with everybody else. So just kind of piggybacking off of that, like, you know, based on today and when you were, you know, high school age, like the importance of education, like your view then versus now.
Oh, when I was in high school, I didn't care about education, man. I didn't care because I couldn't read. I was angry, right? But now I love learning, man. Like I said, I study a dictionary every day. I'm in it, you know. Education is a powerful tool, man. It's something that no one can take away from us, right? And I'm always trying to be better at doing what I do, man, and learning because, I just don't go through life. I grow through life. So every time I open a dictionary, I'm growing, right? Every time I'm writing something, I'm growing. So I love school, man. I told students all the time, like, if you want to build your own table, if you want to make a path and make it yours, you got to stay in the past and you got to get education, right? You have to, it's a 2-year, 4-year, private, public, don't matter. You got to get something under your belt. Like you got to have something that's going to help you move to the next level. And so, but when I was, a sophomore, freshman, middle school, elementary, I didn't care, man. I had no desire. Like I just didn't. I had no aspirations about school. School sucked, man. I hated it. I mean, I don't, if I can say that or not, but that's just reality, man.
No, that's real. There's a lot of people that don't necessarily like school or education, but understand that it's a means to an end. Understand that the value of it once you understand what you want to do in life, career wise or whatever else there is. There's just an importance of just that end result of what you want.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I never really knew the true meaning of the education for myself until I accomplished these rite of passages, right? Like the first one was undergrad. And I was like, wait, doors opening for me. Then my master's, wait, doors were opening for me. And then as a black male, that started off where I started off at, getting a PhD. I was like, hey, the world's mine. I'm gonna conquer stuff. I'm gonna knock down doors. Like I'm going to get what is rightfully mine within the context of this space of education. Like I'm gonna build, so I just built, man. I kept building, man, layer and layer, man, until I got to the top, and then there's no more education for me. Like I go back to school if I want to, but I don't need. So
education for you also became a confidence booster.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. I was able to then get in spaces that probably you and I would not be able to get into. Like, let's be honest, right? Like,
yep.
It's just what it is. My degrees allow me to get in, and then my experience and passion allow me to speak, right? Let me be a voice at the table. And I started really understanding, dynamics and politics and, decision making when it doesn't involve us, but it's for us, right? And so I started to see things, and I was like, wait a second, whoa, no. Like I'm not about to sit here and be silent when you're trying to silence, these students, particularly special education, dyslexia, black and brown. Like, no, I'm gonna speak up, and then that's when you get the labels of angry black man and the radical, and oh, you're scaring me, and I don't know, man. So it is what it is. It's life, but education, man, it's just what gave me opportunities, allowed me to be free, liberated, man. It's you can't take that from you, man. Anybody, man. It's liberation, man.
So, knowing what you said, what it kind of took for you to get to the results that you needed or wanted, like how much work did you put in? Like, I know you said that you've been going to school you went to school 18 years straight. You read the dictionary, studied it, like knowing that there was a deficit in your ability to read. How much time did you spend, whether it be daily, weekly, or whatever? Like, what kind of work did you put in to get the results that you wanted?
Man, I had no life, man. I mean, outside of, some social and fraternal, man, I put my head down and I focused, man. I utilized academic resources, tutors. I mean, you name it, man. I whatever I could get at that time that would help me, I took advantage of it. I had no, pride. Like I used tutors. I used math tutors, writing tutors, reading tutors, weekends, evenings. Like it's like, if you want it, you got to go get it. Like no one's going to give it to me. So I had to make sacrifices. I had to discipline myself, man, in order to get it. Like it was just either you do it or you don't, right? There's no in between. Like, you got to go all the way in or don't go at all. If you don't go at all, you live with that decision. You live with that, that fate, because down the road, you're gonna say to yourself, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Like I should have tried. And, you get some of those ballers that at the basketball court in the community talk about what I did 20 years ago, right? No, like you got to put your mind to it and you got to do it. If you want an education, you got to do what you got to do. So that's what I did.
No, that's real. I literally had somebody when I was younger that told me, hey, when you get to 25, you're going to say one or two things. Man, I'm glad I listened, or man, I wish I would have listened. And so that's so true. It's like, hey, I wish I would have taken advantage of the advice that people were giving, or are you mad that you didn't take advantage of it and you just where you are? But before we get into some more deeper stuff with you, because you're an avid Bears fan.
Oh man, why you bring it up, man?
We got to talk about the Bears. Go ahead. I just want to hear your take on your thoughts with the Bears. And this is for all my Bears fans that follow me on Facebook or whatever the case is. Listen, at some point, you guys are going to just jump off the bandwagon. I saw one, Ron Covington. I'm gonna call you out. I saw you said you was loyal for 31 years, and it's about almost time to jump ship.
I'm having difficulty hearing you, man. The technology.
Oh, now you're having difficulties with the audio. Hey, but before you go ahead and dive into that a little bit, I just want to give a shout out to my sponsor for today, which is CJ's Candy Refreshers. Crystal Johnson has been doing these things with these Jolly Rancher margaritas, and she looked out for me. She wanted to sponsor. She hooked me up with a little variety value pack. So I got one that she said is her new flavor, peach. She also gave me a goodie bag as well, which is pretty dope. There's a bunch of little other juices like that. There's also these like freeze pops. She even hooked me up with these Jello shots. So she definitely said that that she's able to take care of orders for people that want to do parties or anything like that. So I think that's super dope. I've got her email on here at the bottom of the ticker that's scrolling through where it says CJ's Candy Refreshers. And there's her email, www.missologist@yahoo.com. So check her out. Dive in. I'm going to actually have this Jello shot right here while you go ahead and tell me about those Bears.
What they lost today? What else you want to know, man? They couldn't punch in a touchdown in the red zone, and they kept. I don't know. They lost, man. I don't know
what do you think? Is Justin Fields the answer?
Well, I believe he is. If he had a better play caller and some offensive line blockers, but it takes time, man. It takes time to develop, man. I think he's a great quarterback, but again, it takes time, man, to develop. I'm a true Bears hater, but I will say that I don't think he's a bad player. I do think the organization is trying to rush him sooner than he's actually ready, which could ultimately backfire. And when he finally does click, he don't even want to be there anymore. There's no weapons around him. And yes, the play caller is terrible. I was watching the game today, and I was just like, some of these play calls are just terrible. And it had nothing to do with Justin Fields, but it is what it is. And I'll sign up to watch them lose every week. Why you got to rub it in, man? Why you got to do that, man? I'm
sorry.
You said specifically on the DM, we won't talk about the Bears, man. But now you got to make me cry.
No. You asked me not to. I had to. Sorry, man. So what I wanted you to do though is to go ahead and pretty much talk about your books. Like I think the character you created, the books that you've written are just super dope, and it tells a deeper story than people really know from the surface. With Dr. Dyslexia Dude. So go ahead and chime in or talk about it.
Yeah, so again, let's just be honest, man. Within the context of the academy and the ivory tower, they all want you to publish, right? But let's be honest. How many parents or students with learning disabilities or that look like us actually read those things? I mean, do you read them? I mean, outside.
When I was young, I didn't read. I would honestly say that I read all the way until I was about 5th grade. And then, which is something we could talk about as well. Like it wasn't cool to be smart anymore. Like you're trying to be more worried about being cool, fitting in. And so I literally stopped reading from about 10, 11 until I was about 21. I was one of those kids that would try and find the chapter or the section that I was supposed to read in class and just memorize it or work through it. So if I didn't know a word that I could get help for it. So yeah, I definitely understand that where there's a gap. We just didn't do it. And I know I was one of those people.
Yeah. So, when talking about like the research side of it, I want to make sure that the work that I was putting out there was accessible, authentic, and it spoke to kids that not just with dyslexia, but kids that look like me, right? Like us. Like I want to make sure that there was an image of excellence and perseverance and hope in kids' books, because a lot of times when we look at these books, they're written from a negative, right? A deficit, right? Criminal or a thug. Like it's written to a way where it really criminalizes a student, right? And it makes them think that they're gonna be something that they can't aspire to. So my wife and I were like, hey, let's change the narrative. And so we wrote a series of books, working on book number 4 now, of a Black superhero with a learning disability. And the responses that we get from parents, teachers, kids themselves, I mean, it's just a blessing, man. Like I never thought that it would take off the way it did, be able to win pitch competitions, get media exposure, travel. Like I never thought. I just said, hey, I want to do something of good. I want to make sure that kids have something that they can read and connect with, particularly within graphic novels. Wishing that I would have had that when I was that age. Maybe it would have put me on the right path or gave me a little hope or something, And so we just wrote volume 1, and you were the first one to buy volume 1 too. So I'll make sure I get that shout out, Jamal. You were the first one who bought the first volume, and then and after that, volume 2, then volume 3. Now we're working on volume 4, and it's just been a real blessing, man, to get the type of exposures. Like we had book agents and publishers reject our idea because it was a Black superhero. Like it wasn't traditional, Black criminal or something like that. They're like, it's not going to work. They told us, it won't be successful. I mean, we've in 5 years almost sold close to 10,000 copies, man. I mean,
and you're not just in the country, right? You're global, right?
Yeah, we sold books overseas too. Yeah. Jamaica,
and you self-published, right?
Yeah, self-published. Yeah.
Man, you got to speak on that, because there's a lot of work that goes into self-publishing, but there's also a lot more money that can be made from that too. And I think some people have a lot of ideas and want to write. I know a couple of people that have probably tuned in have been working on books or whatever the case is, or have ideas to do it and scare themselves out of doing it. Speak to like that entrepreneurial side of self-publishing.
When I first started, I knew nothing about that. Nothing, right? Probably like a lot of people, right? And I had bless God, I had a mentor, rest in peace, Mr. Wiley, John Wiley, John Wiley. He was an older Caucasian gentleman, and he had started 33 businesses, and we got connected. We got connected, and I told him what I wanted to do, and I told him I didn't know how. And he sat me down and he taught me the game. And he was like, I don't want you to go to a publishing company because they're going to take your rights. They're going to take all your royalties. And so he pretty much sat me down and was like, listen, I'm going to give you the roadmap and I want you to follow it. And so I followed the roadmap, man. I just, praise God that, he sat me down and, taught me about, just the process of how me to print versus, print on demand. Like it was just the paper size, the weight, like, having it warehouse versus me shipping the books out myself. Cause a lot of times, we will say, hey, Jamal, give me $20, man. I'll go to the post office and mail it for you. Right. Like he was like, right. He's like, you don't want to do that. He's like, you don't want to do that. He said, you want to stay away from that completely. And he goes, you want to have a warehouse do all that storefront for you. So he helped me understand the whole process of storefront. And so I was like, I just listened, man. I was like, well, look, I don't know what to do, so I can't speak on it. So I just had to listen, man. I had to sit there and, be a sponge and take the wisdom that he was sharing.
Each one teach one. I mean, if we don't know something, we got to be willing to listen and learn, so that way we can use it for ourselves and then pass that information on to somebody else as well.
Yeah, I mean that's all it was, man. He just, he was like, look, if you go the publishing routes, you're gonna lose your IP, your intellectual property, and they're gonna take all your royalties, and that's it. Like you're not gonna have a business. You're not gonna be an entrepreneur. You're not gonna be a self-published author. They're gonna take everything from you, and that's true. They do because I have published books, edited books with published companies, and now I know the game. Like with the royalties they want to give me, and I see it. I'm like, wait, this is a rig. Like they're just hustling me, and so like, no, I'm good, man. Like I'm okay going the self-publisher route, man. I'm okay with the struggle because with these 5 years, man, it's been the struggle, but I've been very blessed, man. Like 1 month, I'll be honest with you, right? I made 43 cents as an entrepreneur in 1 month, man. Right? Like,
Man, there's times where you don't make any money. There's times
yeah,
where you lose money, but then
yeah,
there's times where you really win.
yep. And I've also been in the hole too. And my pastor said, look, man, that's 43 more cents than some people ever make, right? So I had to put that in perspective and say, you're right, man. Like, praise God, it was 43 cents. So I just, I was grateful for the 43 cents and kept moving, man.
Now, and I wanted to make sure to give you kudos too, because you were somebody that stayed on me about making sure that I wrote my book. Because there was times where I doubted myself, and there was times where I almost was like, man, I'm not doing it. Like to the point that the day that I published it, I still almost talked myself out of it, even after editing it and formatting it and going through all the different channels to make sure that it was the way I wanted or needed it to be. Mm-hmm. And literally what you kind of said was the determining factor, which is why I did it. I was like, man, if I only sell one book, it didn't cost me anything because I self-published. And so I was just like, forget it. Let's see what happens. And I did. And it's like me and you have had conversation. It's kind of taken off in a way that, I wasn't expecting, or faster than I expected. So I wanted to definitely give you your kudos, and I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. It's like we talked about earlier, man. You say you're younger, you either do or you don't, right? Like, just put it out there in the universe. Like, you don't know which way the wind is gonna take you, man. It might shift you this way, it might shift you that way, but it's gonna keep moving you forward, right? You might get some headwind, but you still move forward when you walk, right? You still move when you pedal into the wind. So just keep moving. Like, hey, it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna shift you one way or the other, but it's gonna get you to your end goal, man. But you just gotta keep doing it, man. You just gotta keep doing it, man.
And so, talk about what else do you do? Because I know that you had been doing some teaching.
Yeah, so I teach a private literacy class. Right now, I partner with a vet organization up in Green Bay. For vets and their families, and it's free a reading class. If you're a vet, all you gotta do is fill out the online form, and if you if you're valid and you actually are a former vet, you get this literacy class for free, man. And so I just do a lot of stuff around literacy, man, because again, access is important. As my dog's trying to now play with me, of course, now, right? So anyway. Right, she always does. Every time I'm on her, she always wants to play ball and squeaky. So yeah, I teach reading, man. I love it, man, because it allows me to, share my experiences with students and give them hope, man. Because a lot of kids, all they want is hope, man. They want to know that they can make it out of their situation, right, in their environment. You can. You just got to work hard. You need the right opportunities, the right tools, and once you get those, you can do it. Like you're able, you're capable, right? You just need the right opportunity. And my favorite tool, I keep going back to it, man.
The dictionary.
Dictionary, man. I tell you. It's
based on some of your experiences or whatever, and of course it caused you some pain emotionally and internally. You kind of turn like that pain and emotion into like an entrepreneur opportunity where you created this literacy class. And you're traveling the country teaching it, right?
Yes. Last summer I traveled a lot, man, doing a lot of PDs, particularly in Texas. This upcoming month I'm doing a lot of traveling too. In November I do a lot of traveling, and then as the new year I do a lot of traveling too, all around literacy. And also about the character that my wife and I and our illustrator, Brandon Hannah, my wife, Dr. Sheila Robinson, developed. So, because the character is literacy, right? The character is promoting literacy, it's promoting healthy
Actually,
literacy.
go into more detail about it, because I know you created the superhero and it's, like a graphic novel, but it describes your journey. And I don't know if people really have, whoever has read it really gets to see and notice like how the story does that.
Yeah. So the first book, it's really kind of talks about, my experience. And the second book, again, talks about my experience, but about being resilient, right? And then the third book is more for younger kids, elementary school, about my experience, but we made it like a hip hop rhyming battle with word families, and we developed some new black superhero characters. And so we really wanted to be able to, make my story one that connected with students, but really made it a way where the reading material, they drew them in and they become motivated and passionate about reading. That makes sense? You follow me?
No, it does. It was just the whole idea of it catches younger audience, but it'll also catch the older audience. Like, I do feel like my book targets, I would probably say middle school on up through adulthood, but it doesn't necessarily touch the elementary age kids. But if I was to have made it more of a graphic novel piece where it's like using some words, but more of characters or cartoon, it would register and make sense to them too. And so that way, that's another opportunity for somebody else to get it, and at a younger age.
Yeah, it's true. Can you see my, I'm sharing my screen?
I'm about to pull it up for you.
All right. So these are 3 new characters in book volume 3, right? Dr. Grapheme, Dr. Orthography, and Dr. Phoneme, right? So all these superheroes have a specific power. Grapheme is what, right? You think about letter. Phoneme is sound. Orthography is how words put together, right? How we write them out. And so each of these black superheroes have a strength when it comes to reading, right? And so we want to make sure that when kids read, they see themselves reflected in the reading, and they have a connection. They have something that's visual, because images have power, man. So we want to make sure that kids, not just with dyslexia, but kids who look like you and me, are drawn into it, man. They can see themselves in these. They can connect to it. It's authentic. It's culture responsive, right? It's there. It's present. And when I first started, I used to get comments like, "Why don't you make the characters white?" Because I didn't want to.
Duh, I did it on purpose.
And I'm very unapologetic about it. My mission, my wife's mission, is to make sure that books are accessible for students with dyslexia, but more important, that my 2 young black boys see themselves in the books.
Representation matters.
That's it. Like, I'm not getting in the debate with anybody. I'm not going to, get an argument. Like, my 2 boys are our biggest fans. Every day they say, "Dad, when are you going to write the book number 4? Mom, when are you write book number 4? Or Dad, when you get a new costume? Or Dad, can you come to school in your costume and read?" Like, those are my 2 biggest fans. Like, if I die tomorrow, I know that my 2 boys have been touched by this. So, but I know, again, representation matters. And so that's why we push it out, because, hey, I want to make sure that, again, all kids, right? Not just kids of color, but all kids see something in a positive light when it comes to a learning disability, specifically dyslexia, but also kids that look like you and me are represented with strength, right? With courage, with perseverance, right? And what this book does, it speaks to those things.
I also think it's just dope in general for not just black kids to see, the importance or significance of black people doing amazing things, but for white kids as well. They need to see something positive versus, like you said, we keep hearing and seeing in the media and music and different things of that nature, the negative part. We need to show everybody, the other side of the coin.
That's it, man. We just wanted to make sure that that everybody had access to authentic, culturally responsive literature. That's it, man. That's all. It's it, man. Anybody, right? Like, we wanted to make a connection. We wanted to make sure that it was visually, it was there, man. So that's what it does, right? I mean, I mean, the middle guy, right? You can't tell if he's Middle East, white, with a beard. Like, you don't know. Like, I mean, he's very tan, right? So again, just making that connection, man.
Cool.
I think I froze. Did I freeze?
No, we're good. I think
All
it's
right.
just something that's on our side that's freezing, but we're good.
Right.
So just talk about how do you feel about HBCUs right now? I know you've been able to go to one and work at them. And like I said, I'm always push for HBCUs just because I feel like there's more love that they need to get. And I know you've which ones have you been at? Have you taught at?
I haven't really taught. I just visited. Prairie View was the one I went to.
Charge complete.
Can you hear me, Jamal?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, just I went to Prairie View once, man, to do a presentation, but I loved it, man. It was really experience that I never had before, right? Going to predominantly white institutions, and I was like, wait, like this is pretty cool. Like, I wish I would have had something like this as an undergrad or maybe a master's student, but like it was just the environment, man. It just felt more of a community. It felt like, a place of belonging. Not to say that PWI is not a place of belonging. I'm sure they have their own, things that happen at the HBCUs, but it just, it felt good, man. I was like, wait, this has been a good experience, So
it was just more, it was a lack of exposure from when you were younger. But on top of you weren't sure that education was for you when you were struggling as a reader. But now that you know more, is this something that you would make sure that your boys got a chance to experience? Or at least...
I told my wife already, like, we definitely want to expose our kids to HBCUs, just the, environment, education, want them to be able to know that there's opportunities out there for them too. And I told my wife too, if once I decide to go back into the academy, don't know when, but that's, up to God. I would actually love to actually teach at a HBCU. I'm done with the PWIs right now, man. It's a waste of my time, man. But it's a different subject though. Anyways, so yeah, I would love to be able to give back to HBCU, man, and teach the next generation of educators, particularly in reading, man. That go out into the field and make change, man.
No, that's dope because like not between me and you, but I've been saying this for a while for people that really know me. Like my end goal would be to be a director of a first year experience at an HBCU.
Yeah, so, yeah. Do it, man. I mean, follow your heart, man. Follow your dreams,
And as you say that, I just wanted to know what would be some advice that you would give to some younger kids about their dreams.
I don't really give advice because if I said, Jamal, do this, it doesn't work, what happens?
They blame
you. Right? So I just say, look, man, young ladies, young men out there, if you got a dream, you just got to go for it. You got to figure out how you're going to get there, right? Like, you got, like I said, the wind's going to shift you. The path's going to take you different directions. But if you have a goal, you got a dream, just go for it. Who cares if you fail, right? You fall, you fail, okay, keep moving, right? It doesn't matter. My success in life at this point is because I failed. Because I failed and I failed and I failed, but I didn't really fail though, right? Like if I failed, I wouldn't be here. Like I would have given up or I would have just stopped, but I just kept going. Like I used those experiences as fuel, right? To just keep me moving. And so my experience is you just got to keep moving, man. Like a little train, choo, choo. You just got to keep moving, man. That's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I bike 100 miles. You just got to move. Like you just got to keep moving.
Oh no, yeah. You physically just keep moving. I definitely am not there, but yeah, you be inviting me on these bike rides, and then I look at your dad, and you didn't bike 98 miles. I'm like, nah, my body's not made for that.
Oh yeah, last year I did 14 indoor, 14 centuries. This year I've only done one indoors. I did 106 miles indoors. It was 5 hours 58 minutes on the bike, and then this Friday coming up, we're actually biking from Oshkosh to Fishburger one day. It's 135 miles. So like anything else you do in life, you just got to go, man. You just got to do it. That's it, man. Just go. Just move. Just keep going, man. Just, bob and weave, and, let your experiences be your fuel, man. Like let's drive, man. Like just keep the gas lit and just keep moving, man. I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, I'm not perfect. I made a lot of mistakes in my younger days, in my career. I'm no saint. But one thing I do tell people, man, is I've been blessed, right? I have a good life, beautiful wife, kids, roof over my head, because I worked hard and I kept moving, and I was grateful for the people that helped me get here, right? I didn't do it by myself. I had people that invested in me, right? That saw my potential, that took time out of their days to help me. So I'm always thankful for those that allowed me to get here where I'm at today, man. So, like, again, if you got dreams, man, just go for it. Like, just don't worry about what people say about you, the bitter, the blurping, the talking, that stuff's, man, that stuff's irrelevant, man. It's just a bunch of, lost souls out here, man, trying to, wish they were in your shoes, man. So just keep moving, man.
Last tough question before we ease up out of this one. What would you tell your younger self? Let's say if you could go back and talk to your 11, 12-year-old self, what would you say?
It's going to be okay. Stay out of trouble.
Because you did actually end up in a little trouble, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a sophomore, man. I had my record got expunged. I had my record here somewhere still, man. I kept it. I don't know why I kept it. I have to throw it away. Breaking, entering, trespassing. You just gotta, love yourself, man. That's it. At the end of the day, if you don't love yourself, it's gonna be hard out here for you, right? Like it's gonna be a dark, lonely spot, man. So I tell students, man, even my younger self, man, just love yourself. Always just love yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, Sean, I can do this. I will do this. I love myself, right? Because that belief in yourself is going to manifest into great things, but you just got to love yourself first and foremost, man. Because I can love Jamal as much as I want, but if Jamal doesn't love himself, then Jamal's really not going to make any moves, right? It's going to so I just tell students, my younger self, you just gotta love yourself, man. You just gotta be patient and love yourself.
Cool. Well, before we get out of here, I got some lighthearted questions for you, but I did want to just say, shout out to Crystal again, because this is actually really, really good. These Jolly Rancher margaritas, this peach one is on fire. So y'all make sure that you reach out to her. She'll definitely be willing to take care of you guys, and if it's a party or just you want some just to keep at the house for yourself. So let's go with we actually got a comment. Hold on. Allie asks, what are the titles of the book again?
It's here I pull up real quick. Is that all right, Jamal?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let me just real quick, man.
Yeah, show them all. If you got something to show them your costume too.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna since you were the first one that bought my book, I'm going to show you something, man, that's not public yet. It'll be public right now on your podcast, man. Since you were the first one that bought my book.
We've got a U-bomb.
So
forget Woj bomb. We've got a U-bomb. Let's go.
So let me do this first. So the title of our books are called Dr. Oh, can you see my screen, Jamal?
Yep.
All right. So the title of our books are called Dr. Dyslexia, dude. That's volume 1, 2, and 3. And that's me in the costume here. I spoke at MIT. And then the coolest thing ever as an author, as we had Gary Payton II from the Golden State Warriors, not only read our book, but he gave us a shout out too. And so, again, just do good work, man. Like you just got to do good work, keep moving. But those are the books. the first book is $5 or $4.95. Second book is $5.95. The third book is $9.20. So again, we want to make sure that the book was accessible and affordable for families. And so there you can see there's a book trailer. Those are the name of the books. Does that help? Does that one help there?
Yes, that's what she asked for. Thank you.
Right. Yep.
So yes, let's go ahead and drop the bomb that you got for us.
All right. So we know that there is a underrepresentation of Black excellence in superheroes and literature and mascots, right? Like we don't see these things, and when we do see them, they're usually in a negative light, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna give you something here, man. It's the first time it's going public, but I'll make it public tomorrow. But just for you, Jamal, only for you, man.
We've got exclusive content.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So this March will be the first ever of its kind, a Black or African American boy superhero with dyslexia, a mascot, a full mascot, like right here.
Oh wow,
that's the mascot. Like the one.
So you making history?
Like the ones you see at like the basketball games and that's a full Black mascot that represents Black excellence. It represents the image of hope, perseverance, right? Giftedness, creativity, innovation. We want our kids to be able to see themselves reflected in greatness, man. No more beating around the bush. Like we're coming out the gate swinging, man. So yes, this will be coming out in March, man. Right now it's getting made. And again, it's a resemblance of Black excellence, man. So I don't, it's just what it is. And so, yeah, man. So, and these are all the things that my wife and I have been able to do, all the media exposure, even international, Jamaica, right? And we just got highlighted in a UK and London magazine, right? And so we were also highlighted in DC. So again, man, we just want to make sure that kids see themselves reflected, man, and the mascot's going to change the game, man. So,
oh man, that's super dope.
So you're the first one that saw this, man. I haven't made it public yet, but for you, I'm gonna do it for you, Jamal.
Man, I appreciate that. We got some exclusive content. That's super dope, man. And congrats on that and everything that you've been doing, man. For real.
Thank you.
And I appreciate all the encouragement that you've given along the way, and then just pushing me and setting the tone and setting the pace. Like this is dope.
Well, thank you, man. Like I said, man, we want every kid, man. I don't care what color you are, man. Right. If you have a learning disability, you're in special ed, man, you feel like you're less than, right? You don't feel like you have any hope, like no fuel, right? You don't feel like, you're going to make it. But particularly our young Black boys, man. That's why we wrote these books, and that's why we added a Black character, a female. In the third book, we want not just our boys, but girls to see excellence, man. We want them to see academic excellence, man. That's just what it is, man. Look, hate me for doing it, that's okay, right? I'm doing it because I want to make sure students know that they can be innovators and they can be creative and they can be entrepreneurs. They can be successful. Whatever they do, just put their mind to it and use that fuel, as you say, man. Fuel.
Fuel, definitely. Got to use it as fuel.
That's it, man. Fuel. That's it.
All right, man. I got some real lighthearted questions. That way we can get up out of here. Right. So the first one is, who's your GOAT? LeBron or Michael Jordan?
Man, I was born in 1978, man. So I'm going with Jordan, man. Grew up with the Bulls games my whole childhood, man. That's all I know.
You got your kids in the background.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite cereal?
It's Michael Jordan.
I gotta say, oh man, it's a tough one. I'm a Raisin Bran, man.
Raisin Bran. Hey, we will not. No judgment.
Or Wheaties, man. One or two. What? Both of those.
No judgment. Shocked, but no judgment. Hey, last one. I always loved this one. What's your favorite movie?
Remember the Titans.
That's a good one too. real deep.
Yeah, man. Just
Yeah,
the
man.
history of
So yeah, I definitely appreciate you taking the time out to connect with me on here and then share your information and knowledge, especially the exclusive content we just got and dropped. So, man, keep doing what you're doing, and I appreciate you. And we'll definitely stay locked in. All right.
All right, man. Hey, what thing, man? What's wrong with Raisin Brands, man?
It's not a cereal that I've heard people say is their favorite.
Well, I'm the first for a lot of things, man. So you know,
Right, you groundbreaking. I get it.
man.
I get it.
I also grew up probably in a exclusive white community too, man. So you know, just it is what it is, man. You know.
Hey, I feel you. Hey, so yes. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you for everybody that tuned in and listened that may even still be on. I know this was bad timing because the Packer game was still going on, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll be sharing this so you guys will be able to catch it and check it out later. So appreciate you guys. We'll be back on in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
Hey, Jamal, you got a minute?
Yep.
After you go cancel live.